Hi, welcome to Break Time with Lynn. I wanted to do these small little episodes in between our main episodes because I just was thinking maybe we need to put some content out that maybe just in small forms, because sometimes the main podcast doesn't really have time to put in things like I have planned for these little mini episodes. Now these may be 5 minutes, 15. I may go on for 30 minutes on one of these days, but I just kind of wanted to take this time and call it Break Time with Lynn, and that's literally what I'm doing. I wanted to talk about on this episode about Disneyland and that it's closed right now, and a lot of people have different feelings on that. Obviously everyone wants it to reopen. I don't think, well, there might be people, but I don't think you're any of our listeners that don't want it to ever open again or for a long time. I think that there's just different opinions on when and why and how. And I'm not going to get into that because, again, everyone has different opinions, and I respect that. I would give you mine, but it is just a short little thing here. But I wanted to say is that I think that, if I think Disney does everything they can to keep it safe in the park, and I know that for sure. And I think that they're going to have, with the plexiglass and everyone wearing masks and sanitizing everywhere, and I know the custodians are going to step it up and be doing a lot of extra stuff. Now, with all that, you can't stop a virus from spreading. And that has gone back to the first day the park had opened. There had always been some sort of cold or virus or something that was going around that someone could catch. Obviously, this is a little different, but maybe. But I just think that it's time to slowly start to reopen, and that's my opinion. But I don't want to go any further on that. I did want to talk about how excited I am for it to reopen, and it's kind of frustrating because we can't plan trips because we don't know. It could be 3 weeks, it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. But I do think, my gut feeling tells me that it's going to open sometime this year. It might be October, November, September, but I have a feeling it will be sometime this year. Now, it's really hard doing episodes when the park isn't open. And it sounds kind of weird because I think that, I'm not an annual pass holder, although I'm thinking about it, but I'm not an annual pass holder. And although last year I felt like I was there, I was there 6 different trips last year. So there was a lot going on. We had a family trip. We did it's really hard to do an episode, talk about Disneyland when it's closed. And like I said, it's not because I don't go there every weekend like some people do, and I don't go there every day like I used to when I worked there. But it is hard. I don't know, there's something special about knowing that the park is open and people are there having fun. And even if I'm not there, there's something about it that I enjoy knowing. And it brings me joy to talk about Disneyland when it's open. Now, we can still talk about it. I still enjoy talking with Ken. He's my, probably one of my best friends. And I, enjoy talking to our guests about their time either working there or writing about it or whatever we've done. But it's just something about it, and I can't explain it. but it is not as easy as it used to be. And that's okay, because the park will reopen. It may not be how we saw it the last time we were there, but I believe we will slowly get back to somewhat how it was when we were there. It might take a while, but I don't think people are going to have to always wear masks for the rest of the time. So I just don't know how long that part of it will go. I've heard some people say that they're not returning until masks are not mandatory. And so that, I don't know. I mean, I understand that. I totally understand that. In fact, I was one of those people. But now it's gone on so long, and I'm like, you know what? I need Disneyland. I will wear a mask. I will wear a sweater. I will wear whatever they want me to wear. So, anyways, we do these episodes and we talk to everyone. We really enjoy ourselves. And where am I going with this? Oh, okay. So, what I wanted to say was that I want to plan a trip. I can set some dates, and we love staying at Candy Cane Inn. That's our to-go-to place. I could make some reservations and hope that it is open during that time. Then I may have to cancel. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just waiting for a word. And I know that the state of California is a little more strict than some other states. Florida, Walt Disney World's fully open. I've even seriously thought about going to Walt Disney World because I thought, well, maybe this is the year to do that. Doesn't seem as crowded right now. Airfare is somewhat cheaper. I don't know. So that's in the back of my head too. But I want to say just that I really miss Disneyland. And that I think that to have that hope that we do know it's going to reopen is a little bit of insurance, that we know that it will reopen. We will be there having fun again. Some people, a lot of our listeners, maybe don't get to go very often at all. Maybe every few years, maybe once a year. So this may not affect them, or maybe they had a trip planned this summer and they weren't able to go. I know I had one planned, had 2 trips planned during this closing period that we've gone through, and of course those didn't happen. So it was a letdown, but we got to move forward. We got to do this. So I'm thinking that we need to just have a better attitude, regardless of what people's feelings are, because I have strong opinions on this whole thing, but I don't want to offend anyone. But I also understand, and not everyone's the same. Not everyone has the same opinion, and that's okay. That's what makes us all so different. And I wouldn't want everyone to be the same. It would be a boring world. So let's steer away from that for a little bit. And I wanted to talk about why am I missing it? Why is it something that I need in my life? For me, going there with my son is probably the number one most joy that I've ever had, and my wife. But just speaking of him, because he is young and it's just still, he's been there now probably 20 times, but it's still new to him. It's still joy, that joy he has. The magic is still there. And I think that when we go, we just have a great time. He is really interested in behind the scenes stuff like I am. So he asks me questions when we're in line or we get off a ride and I love that. And that's why we started the Height Restricted podcast with my son and I. So we haven't done a episode in a couple months. Like I said, it's hard to talk about Disneyland when it's not open. But Height Restricted is just my son and I, and we do short episodes, about 30 minutes, and we talk about Disneyland Resort and Universal Studios Hollywood, because that is our other place that we have been wanting to go to. We were supposed to go this summer, and we can't go. So we hope to go there soon. because I think that Universal has a lot to offer too. If you haven't been in a while, I highly suggest that you go when it reopens, because they've really stepped up their game. It's not Disney, but they definitely have people that worked at Disney at one point. Not everyone, but they have some people that have worked at Disney, and I think they've stepped it up. I think they have some quality attractions, especially the Harry Potter area there. Wizarding World of Harry Potter, I believe it's called. So back to talking about why I miss Disneyland. I miss, when we talk about it every other week on our main podcast, it gets me excited to go again. It's hard to talk about sometimes because we can't go, but it also makes me want to go more. And maybe that's why Disney doesn't really get on podcasters about all this content, because maybe it's helping make people want to go. Free advertisement, right? I don't know. So yeah, we want to go bad, and I just want to. I miss the Ronto wrap, that's for sure. That is one of my favorite snack foods that they have there. It's more than a snack food. It's not like a churro, but it could be a meal, actually. But missed that. Res Resistant was just opened. I can't even remember when it was. January, February? It had just opened. I think it was January. And we, luckily, I've now been on it 4 times. We had 2 trips since it opened and was able to go every day because we did 2 days each trip. I was able to go on it each time, luckily enough, as stressful as it was to get a boarding pass. And I think that's going to continue. I don't think they're going to steer away from the non-boarding pass. In fact, I think they're going to add boarding passes for other attractions. That's my belief. And I don't know how that's all going to work, but I think that's what they're going to do. Because there's something on the app that shows queues or something. I can't remember think of the name now. But I miss Res Resistant because I was so blown away by such a good attraction it was and is. And I want to experience that again. I want to. It's still new, and I like Galaxy's Edge because it's still new to me. I didn't have to work there. Didn't get to or have to work there, and it's something about, like, when I go to DCA, there's something about going in a place that I don't know as well as I knew Disneyland. And it brings a certain kind of joy and mysteriousness to it. Although I've been to DCA now probably, I don't know how many times, probably 50 times, or more. But I still enjoy going there because it's still new to me in a way. Same with Galaxy's Edge. It's still somewhat new. I don't know where all the drinking fountains are in both those, DCA or Galaxy's Edge. I know where almost every drinking fountain is in Disneyland. That's just an example. So, anyways, I think that just waiting. I guess we're waiting on the government to, California government, to allow theme parks to open. And when that happens, then I think Disneyland's going to announce how they're going to do it, if it's a reservation system, which I believe it'll probably be. I don't know how the annual passes are going to work, but we'll just have to see what happens. But I hope you enjoyed just listening to my thoughts. That's what this is going to be, just kind of my thoughts. You can skip this if you don't want to listen to my thoughts, because we don't have the hilarious Ken on here, but I just wanted to do this. It was just kind of been on my heart, and I wanted to share some thoughts on different topics and things. And I'm going to be more specific on in the future. It's just kind of whatever I'm thinking that day when I do it. But I was thinking about doing, like, maybe one time I'll talk about the pan and broom, the tools we used. There's a lot to it other than just walking around sweeping. So maybe I'll talk about that. Maybe I'll talk about, when we cleaned restrooms. some memories and things that I noticed, stuff that didn't either make it in the book, or maybe it did, but just kind of talk about it a little more. But hope you did enjoy this. I'm going to try to continue these on the weeks that we do not have our regular show. So we do a regular show every other week, and I was going to do this on the off week. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk with you next time.